Hey guys, so we are a few days into our sleep challenge. And of course, if you haven't joined, join anytime. This is really about becoming the best version of ourselves, and it starts with prioritizing our rest and our restoration. So, as I've mentioned, our challenge is about quantity, so 8.5 hours of sleep opportunity. However, we also want to improve the quality, and that's going to be more on you to implement on your own. So, in this video, I'm going to give you a few tips. There's so many tips we can give, but I'm going to give a few just for setting up your environment to have quality sleep. And then in the next video, I'm going to share my personal routine, how I like to wind down to get to sleep, and different products that I've kind of bought and different things that kind of help me wind down and have a better quality sleep. So I'll share that in the next one. But today, let's start with number one, temperature. The room where you are sleeping should be very cool. When we are hot or stuffy, our bodies wake up and we want to calm it down. And so, temperature, if you can set the thermostat to 65 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit or about 18 degrees Celsius, that's generally a very good temperature. If it's still too hot and it's getting stuffy, if you have access to a window and you can get some fresh air in, that's really, really great for your sleep. If I wake up in the middle, not the middle of the night, but earlier in the morning, and I still have a bit more time to sleep, if I just open a little crack in our sliding door in our room and get some fresh air in, I often am able to fall back asleep. So I don't know the science on that, but try it if you are waking up feeling hot. Number two is light. Light is the nemesis of sleep. At nighttime. In the morning, we do want light. So at night, when you are in bed sleeping, you want no light and like nothing. So the best thing is just to get all the electronics out of the room. But if you do happen to have something in the room, and even if it's like a tiny little power source, it's just like the smallest little light, you need to cover that up. So I go around the room, and if there's something in here, I'll just put t-shirts or socks or whatever. We don't want any light coming. If you have an alarm clock, especially a digital one that's showing the time, you want to either put that down or get a new alarm clock or cover it up, because the last thing you want is to be looking at the time in the middle of the night. That's actually, there's quite a few studies on that showing that that really triggers people with insomnia. So don't look at the time at the night, and especially from a light source. If there's cracks coming in through your window, blackout curtains, of course, are really, really helpful, but even they do not cover all of it. So in my room, I've got like 2 sets of blackout curtains, and then I take a really long, thick sheet that's dark and I put it on top of the window and then let it drape down, because there's still little cracks of light that come in. So be really diligent, like be a super sleuth and look around your room and see, is there any light coming in? Is there a light coming in through the door from maybe the outside coming in, cracks? Whatever it is, cover it up, because we don't want light at night. Secondly, with light, is the screen time. So when we have our phone, our tablet, some TVs, computers, they emit blue light. I think we've probably all heard about this by now, but that really disrupts the circadian rhythm, the blue light really wakes us up. So we don't want that close to bedtime. I would say give yourself 30 to 60 minutes between time you're checking your phone to going to sleep. So get those out of your sleep routine. Make sure they are far away from that. Next is caffeine and alcohol. Those are some things that we enjoy taking, but we got to be really mindful of. So caffeine obviously is a stimulant, and look in all the different products you're taking, chocolate has caffeine in it. It's not just coffee and tea. Even some medications can have stimulating effects. So if you are taking something and you aren't having a great sleep, check with your doctor on that. But the things that we know for sure, like caffeine, limit it to 12 noon and before, because caffeine can stay in our system for about 8 hours. So we just don't want to allow it to have any stimulating effect near bedtime. Alcohol, we think, hey, it makes me drowsy, I'm tired, I can fall asleep if I have a glass of wine. but what it's doing is disrupting the quality of your sleep. So you might be falling asleep, but you're actually cutting out a whole sleep cycle. There's 3 sleep cycles. I won't get into all of it, but the one that you're cutting out with alcohol is your REM sleep. And we need them all because that's where all the restoration happens in our body. So I'm not saying don't drink alcohol, but obviously be very mindful of how much you have and maybe push it back closer to dinner and not have it right next to bedtime. Next is timing. Our bodies love consistency. They don't like to be shocked. They want to have a rhythm. That's why it's called a circadian rhythm. So we need to create a consistent sleep and wake routine. And so we want to try to find something that's realistic for you every day of the week, not have your weekday work schedule and then try to catch up on the weekend. That doesn't really work very well because our bodies want to have a rhythm. So try to find something that you can maintain every day of the week. And let's say you're just not getting enough sleep opportunity. You're just not in bed long enough for you to even get the sleep that you need. So you're getting up at 7, but you're still like pushing the candle and you're getting to bed about midnight or 1 a.m. and you need to pull it back. Do it very slowly and gradually because our bodies don't like to be shocked. So start for a few days of going to bed at 11:45. Once that feels like you've settled into a good routine, then push it back another 15 minutes and push it back to 11:30 and keep doing that until you get to about 10:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And then you've got that nice window of time for you to have a sleep opportunity. Again, our bodies don't like to be shocked. So with that, we need to create kind of a wind down, a runway between the busyness of the day to when you go to sleep. If we just keep going and we're really busy at night and then we're so tired and we're like, I'm just going to go to bed. And then you get into bed and you're so exhausted, but you just can't shut your brain down, and then you end up not sleeping very well or not being able to get to bed. So I definitely recommend having a consistent, again, routine every single night for about 30 minutes to an hour that is just going to cue your body to say, hey, we're going to start winding down now. Let's get that melatonin levels up and we're going to get ready for bed. So everyone's a little bit different, but a few ideas are, again, playing with that light source. Dim the lights in the house. We don't want bright lights on. We want to start telling the body, no, it's time to wind down and rise those melatonin levels. So if you only have the really bright white lights in your house, then consider getting a candle and just having some nice romantic candlelight, and that'll also be a nice it's better on the eyes. You could do something like have a warm bath before bed or a hot shower. You could add to that with some Epsom salts and essential oils like lavender. You could do some deep breathing, gentle stretching, journaling, reading, prayer. There's so many different things you can do, but find something that would be relaxing for you every single night that you can commit to, that you enjoy. I enjoy my wind down routine. I'm going to share that in the next one because you're going to do it every night, but it shouldn't be stimulating, obviously. And so let me know how these ones go. There's lots of different tips we talked about, and there's other tips that I'd love for you to share. I'm sure you have your own tips that you found work, so share that in the group. But let's try with just working on the temperature this week. If your room's not cool enough, then see how that feels with lowering it or opening a window. Making sure that there's no light sources in our room and that we're dimming the lights throughout our wind down routine, creating a consistent timing and wind down routine, and just avoiding things that could disrupt the sleep like caffeine, alcohol. And let me know how that goes, and I'll send another video next week with my own routine and some extra things that I found helpful.